In 1997, Apple was 90 days from bankruptcy. Steve Jobs came back, killed 70% of the product line, and said, "We need to be great at a few things, not decent at everything." 12 years later, Apple was worth more than Microsoft and Google combined. The turnaround didn't come from a new technology. It came from a ruthless thinking system. Here's what it was. Most people think Steve Jobs' genius was aesthetics. It wasn't. It was clarity. He had an almost violent ability to identify what mattered, eliminate what didn't, and protect his focus against 1,000 things that seemed important but weren't. Let's break down the 5 mental moves that built one of the most valuable companies in history. Jobs had a framed quote on his wall: "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." He didn't mean minimalist design. He meant something harder, the discipline to understand something well enough to reduce it to its essence. When Jobs returned to Apple, he famously drew a simple 2x2 grid: consumer, pro on one axis, desktop, portable on the other. 4 products. Everything else was cancelled. This is not obvious. Most leaders facing a crisis add. They launch new initiatives, expand the product line, diversify. Jobs subtracted. And the subtraction created the focus that saved the company. The principle extends beyond business. Every area of your life where you feel scattered or overwhelmed, you have too many inputs and not enough filters. Simplicity is the result of a decision, not a feeling. What are the 4 boxes in your life that actually matter? Everything else is noise. Steve Jobs' colleagues described his ability to make people believe the impossible was possible as the reality distortion field. Engineers would walk into a meeting saying something couldn't be done and walk out believing they could do it in half the time. This wasn't manipulation. It was a specific form of leadership. Jobs understood that most limits people believe in are social constructs, consensus views about what's feasible based on how things have been done before. By refusing to accept those limits as fixed, he created pressure that caused his team to find solutions that didn't previously exist. The application. The next time someone tells you something will take 6 months, ask what it would take to do it in 6 weeks. Not to be cruel, to force genuine creative thinking about assumptions that haven't been examined. The limit of what's possible is almost always further than the first estimate. Jobs exploited this relentlessly. "I'm as proud of what we haven't done as I am of what we have done." Jobs said this in 1997 and meant it. Focus, in Jobs' definition, was not a time management technique. It was a strategic posture. Every yes to one thing is a no to 1,000 others. The question isn't what to say yes to. It's what you're protecting your yeses for. Apple said no to licensing its operating system, which every analyst called a mistake. No to cheap products, which every competitor made. No to feature bloat, which every survey said customers wanted. Every no made the yeses more powerful. The business version. Your core offering is what your best customers pay for and tell others about. Protect it from distraction, from feature creep, from the pressure to be everything to everyone. The companies that scale fastest are almost always the ones most willing to disappoint people outside their core. Jobs believed that taste, the ability to judge what is excellent, was a learnable skill and a genuine competitive advantage. He cultivated his by studying calligraphy, architecture, Zen Buddhism, and Sony's industrial design for years before building a single product. He visited the Bauhaus archives. He studied Braun's product line obsessively. None of this showed up directly in any product. But it shaped his internal model of what excellence looked like. The business insight. Most leaders make decisions by consensus or market research. Jobs made decisions by taste, his internal calibration of what was exceptional, and then convinced the market to agree. You can develop taste. Expose yourself to the best work in your industry, adjacent industries, and completely unrelated fields. Read about the people who are considered exceptional in their craft and study what they consider exceptional. Over time, your internal model of quality improves. And that model, applied to every decision you make, is worth more than any single skill. Jobs ended every major product launch with the same image: a street sign showing the intersection of technology and liberal arts. He believed Apple's advantage was that it was the only company with a foot in both worlds. Technology without humanity is useful but cold. Liberal arts without technology has no scale. The intersection produces products that work brilliantly and feel human. This principle applies to any career. The people who dominate the next decade won't be the deepest technologists or the most creative communicators. They'll be the ones who can do both, who understand systems and can explain them to people, who can build and who can sell. Find your intersection. What technical domain are you genuinely good at? What human skill makes it unusually yours? The combination that's hard to replicate is where your leverage lives. Steve Jobs didn't win because he was the smartest engineer or the best designer. He won because he had more clarity than anyone around him, about what mattered, what didn't, and what he was protecting his attention for. Clarity is available to you too. It's not a personality trait. It's a practice. If this resonated, subscribe and share. The next video is Kobe Bryant's Mamba mentality, the obsessive work system that made him the most disciplined athlete of his generation.